Russia invades Ukraine. COVID-19 numbers are up. State of emergency continues. The headlines of late have left us asking the question, what is this world coming to? Psalms 2 gives us some honest answers and shows us what our focus needs to be on today. In the psalmist's day, rebellion against God was just as common as it is in 2022. He asks in verse 1 and 2, "Why do the nations rage and the people plot? They have taken counsel together against the Lord and his people." Their problem is still the same one that we have today. Our world is turned away from God, and so mankind plots and schemes and growls and rages against truth. This psalm is believed to be one of King David's, written just after he captured Jerusalem from the Jebusites and made it his capital city. In 2 Samuel chapter 5, we read the details of that battle and the coming invasion of the Philistine army that thought they could capitalize on David's weaknesses. The nations were raging and the people plotting, but instead of giving up, David went to God in prayer and asked him if he should go up and fight this invading force. God told him to go up, and David's army defeated them. But the Philistines didn't give up easy. They came back again. And so like before, David asked God, "Shall I go up and attack them?" And God answers a little differently this time. He says, "You shall go up, and when you hear the sound of marching and the tops of the mulberry trees, then rouse yourself, for then the Lord has gone up before you to strike down the army of the Philistines." Today, we may often feel like the psalmist. The nations are raging with rebellion. But God responds to that rebellion in verse 4 through 9. He laughs and speaks out against evil. He sits on his throne and gives forth his word. His son will come and receive the nations as his inheritance, and he'll bring judgment upon those who reject him. Today, we know the good news. We know that Jesus has come. We know that he has died for us, he has risen for us, and he's coming again for us. And so when we wonder, what is this world coming to? We can pause to remember that Jesus has come to make all things new. Jesus is the Son of God with power, and he offers life to us. But the end is not yet. And so God calls us in verse 10 to be wise and be warned. And he offers us the solution to our worldwide problems. And that solution is worship. Like David did, we pray and we pray often. And we pay attention to God's call for the nations and the peoples to serve him with fear and to rejoice in him in verse 10 and 11. To serve God means to come under his authority. To fear God means to serve him with a sense of awe and reverence for his majesty, his power, and his holiness. To rejoice in him is calling us to see that in his presence is the fullness of joy. As Psalms 2 draws to a close, he calls for us to kiss the Son, meaning to claim Jesus for ourselves and to seek to please him in all that we do and all that we say. Remember, while the rest of the world is preparing for war, heaven is preparing for a wedding. So as verse 12 says, "Blessed are all who take refuge in him."